Hello, this is Aynlsey Salzman, your local Pearson rep, and today I will be going over MyCommunicationLab. Thanks so much for joining. Today we're going to go over some of the latest features of MyCommunicationLab. We just launched the newest edition, so I'm really excited to get started. Here you've got your course homepage. This is the first thing that you and your students will see once you launch into the lab. The great thing about this view is that you can see everything that you'll need to do within the lab in one place. It's very easy to navigate. You've got your browser checks to make sure all your browsers are tuned up, and then you've got your user guide, so anytime you're moving through the lab, you have any questions, it's fully interactive and hyperlinked. You can click right on that user guide to find those answers. One of my favorite parts of the labs today are all of our e-texts because they really stand out and are very interactive in a way that print texts are not these days. The nice thing about the e-text is it's very flexible, so you can download it to an iPad. Students can listen to the e-text. They can actually put it on their tablet. So the great thing about listening to the e-text is there's chapter audio and it's fully ADA compatible as well. So you would just choose the chapter that you'd like to read, and then you can click on any part of the chapter to get that audio. And I'm going to pull up the e-text just to show you how flexible and interactive it really is. So here I've pulled up page 225. As you're moving through the e-text, you'll notice a lot of different icons. You can actually hover right over it. This is suggestions for more powerful speeches, and students can really interact and engage with the e-text in a way that they wouldn't normally be able to do with their print text. So it just keeps them interested in the material, keeps them less distracted, because we know once they leave that classroom experience, there are a lot more distractions. So we want to make the e-text as really, compatible to what the student wants and their needs. And a nice feature too that I wanted to point out is that we've got all of the key terms highlighted, so students can click right on the key term in the glossary. The definition will come up for every key term within the text. You also have these icons as well. You just click right on them and it will launch into that activity or that chart. So anything that's highlighted within that chapter will pull up. You can do some keyword searches as well. So I'm going to type in informative speech, and this will pull up informative speech and where that's covered throughout the entire text. And then you can click right on it and it will take you to that specific chapter or page. You can also highlight in the e-text, which is really nice. So here we're going to highlight some text. I'll show you how to take notes. It's very easy to do. You just drag this little thumbtack, type your notes in this white space, and then if a student has a quiz or a test coming up, they can actually print out those notes, which is great. So here we've got our notes manager, and then the student can print out those notes right here. So those are just some of the features of the e-text. I wanted to make sure that I shared that with you before we launched into some of the other parts of the lab. So also on your course home, you'll have your announcements over here for students to see, any upcoming events, and you can actually have your reviews or submissions that are awaiting reviews right here as well. So moving down on here, the left-hand side is what we call our navigation bar. So it really is easy to navigate within the lab. You've got your course calendar. That's something that students will be able to see when assignments are due. They can check by month or by term, by list. We've got all of our great embedded course content. So within each chapter you have a pre-test. A student will take that pre-test and they'll be given a study plan. Then they've got a lot of short videos that are cover some of those key topics and complete a multiple choice quiz afterward. You can have students review key terms through our interactive flashcards. They can drill themselves. They can, we've got multiple choice on there as well, and students can export them to their mobile device, which they love, especially right before a quiz if they really want to test themselves. Then we have our post-test, so the student can see then after they've taken that pre-test, work through the study plan, they can show mastery through that chapter post-test. And then of course you have your comprehensive chapter exam that you can assign as well. So within each chapter you have all of those different options, so it's very flexible, very customizable to meet the needs of your specific syllabus. Over here on the navigation bar, we've got something called Writing Space. This is actually a brand new feature for fall 2013. We've partnered with Turnitin, so students are actually able to master concepts and develop critical thinking through writing in MyCommunicationLab. Here we've got some instructor prompts, so you can put your own prompts in here, and then we have a I have a dream prompt, so I'll show you what that looks like over here. So as the student is moving through this material and as they're working on these writing assignments, the great thing is everything that they do within the lab is actually going to be graded in the lab, and it will show up in your gradebook. The student will be able to monitor their progress as well. So I think that's really nice because instructors are always wondering, what type of reporting features we have, and you can export grades, which I'll show you. But even with the writing space component, that's something that you'll be able to set your own rubrics within here. You'll be able to check the progress of those assignments. You'll be able to see if something's, the deadline has been missed over here on a specific assignment. And here you've got your students. So we have some sample students loaded. You'll be able to see if a writing assignment has been graded or submitted. You'll be able to see the grade. And then you can actually click right on there. And then you can actually see the rubric over here on the right side and hover over 1, 2, 3, and 4 so you can recall what those are, and you can show the class average if you'd like. You can adjust the grade right over here and save it and then return it back to the student. We've got some commenting tools within this writing space, and like I said earlier, you can have your students do an originality check through Turnitin right within the lab before they turn in these writing assignments. So moving down our navigation bar, another really amazing part of this lab is Media Share. This is actually a comprehensive upload tool where students can upload all of their speeches and have all of this information in one place to make it really easy for you as the instructor to grade those speeches, to comment in real time, as long as you have either a webcam or students can tape themselves on their cell phones and then upload it right here to Media Share. So this is actually the course home for Media Share that you can launch right in through the lab. And we've actually put a sample course in here just to show you how easy it is to navigate within Media Share. We've got all of the different assignments that you have technically created, when they're due, when they're not due, and then we have our class roster over here. Now, one other thing that I wanted to mention on the course home for Media Share, as an instructor, you can create your own profile, which is really cool. You can really personalize this page, put a funny picture, really get your students excited about public speaking, because we know that students aren't always anxious to submit their speeches. It is sometimes nerve-wracking for students. So anything that you can do to make it a fun experience for them, they really do appreciate. So this is where you can put your profile, and then let's go back over here. I just clicked on your specific course, so you can actually label your courses if you have multiple ones. And then we'll just click on one over here just so you can see what a sample assignment looks like. You can view all of the submissions over here. So here we've got a couple different submissions. You can set your rubric up right within Media Share, so as you're grading, your rubric is right there. And then you can click right on the assignment. And then it will pull up that assignment. And then this is where you can submit your comments right in that space. You've got your rubric over here on the right. All you have to do is press play and it will start the speech. And then students can actually comment as well as the student is doing their speech. And the nice thing is, if there is a particular habit that the student does, maybe they say the word a lot, this is a great way to actually find that out through this commenting feature down here. So here you've got all of your rubric, your points that you assess your student on, and then you can submit that over there. So we're going to go back to the assignment, and you can manage your profile, your courses, your rubrics all over here. I'm just going to click that so you can see. You can edit your rubric. Here we've got one pre-built in there. You can create new ones. So it's really nice because everything, like I said before, is in one place. All of the assignments that you're going to have within the semester with all of your students, it's really nice to be able to have that all in one spot so you don't have to go anywhere else but the lab. And then of course we have the students' grades, which they will be able to see and you will be able to keep track of as well on how that they are progressing throughout the course. And you can also export the gradebook over here. So going back to our course homepage, I also wanted to point out our student resources. Our student resources are very vast. They're very helpful tools for students and a great resource for them. I mentioned those interactive flashcards. They can launch right into those through here. We've got MyCommunicationLab, which gives them all the tools that they need for writing and research in one place, all of the credible, vetted material, and reliable sources that they can use. We have an outline tool so students can create their own outlines and have their own templates in there. We've got sample speeches as well, so students can actually pull up those sample speeches and they can listen to them right here. We've got everything from George Washington's farewell address, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, the Pearl Harbor address. So you've got really great speeches here to really help students as they are working on their assignments to hear those sample speeches. And then we have some American rhetoric videos as well, some top 100 speeches that they can watch. So all of this is within their student resources. And then moving down our navigation bar, you've got your gradebook for MyCommunicationLab. I showed you the gradebook for MediaShare, so I wanted to also make sure we talked about the gradebook for this lab as well. And within the gradebook, you do have that exporting feature. We have a course reporting feature too, so you can really see how your students are doing. Here we've got those two students, their grades to date, what they've completed, and what their scores are. And then, like I said, you can export that data too. And then here's our course reporting, which actually hones in even further. So as this pulls up, you'll really be able to see the class average, the student performance, your top performers, your lowest scores, and then you can click right on student performance as well. So really pull all of that data that you need. And then within our instructor tools, we have everything in one place for you, all of your resources, your test bank, your PowerPoints. We've got your instructor's manual. We have MyTest, which actually can be exported to Blackboard. So you can create your own tests within the lab using our test banks. And then if you do teach blended courses or online courses, we've got some teaching aids for you as well, some brief guides to help you through. So this is your instructor tool tab, and this is really great because it's all right here within the lab. You don't have to go anywhere else. So that pretty much highlights everything that I wanted to go over today. There's so much more that I'd love to talk to you about, but I just wanted to get your feet wet with some of the newest, latest features of MyCommunicationLab. I look forward to meeting with you in person so that we can talk about this in more detail and really customize it for your course. Thanks so much for joining, and I look forward to meeting with you soon.